For this video, you're going to have a reading assignment. And the assignment is you have to read this webcomic, which is about 20 words long. Maybe you want me to narrate it to you. No, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Why? I don't need to. The experience of reading it is what you will experience if you read it right now. And that is what this video is about. So go ahead and read through the whole thing. It's 20 words. Come on. I can see you. I know you're crying. You're literally streaming tears. Oh, you don't want to read it? Oh, you're a little whiny, you're a little baby liberal, too afraid to be triggered by a webcomic. Oh, you want to burn this? Too bad it's not a book. You can't burn it in your pile of books that you love burning. True Allegiance, Maps of Meaning. How are you going to find your way back home on the Meaning Highway without the frickin' map? You know, back in my day, we had to use a map. Now kids just use their phone to find all the meaning. When I was a kid, we had to use a map to find our meaning. Nowadays, kids have an app to find their meaning. The app is Instagram, and the meaning is liking a picture of a butt. Okay, hopefully you've read it by now. I gave you a good amount of time there. Did you want me to be quiet for like 30 seconds? How about you pause the damn video, you fucking idiot? You didn't give me enough time. Pause the video. How about that, moron? How about you pause the damn video, moron? What did you guys think? Was it bad? Because I thought it was pretty bad. I imagine most of you think it's pretty bad too. Whenever I saw this webcomic, I was like, this does not make sense. Not that it's like confusing, it makes like sense in literally in terms of the events that are happening, right? You have this scrawny guy, he comes up to some muscly people, he's like, how did you get so freaking ripped and shredded and strong? And they point to a picture of an Instagram post that they printed out and taped to a wall, and he's like, oh, that's how. You got so mad at an Instagram post that you became big and strong. And then he becomes big and strong because the Instagram post made him so mad. This is a joke, right? It's structured like a joke. It's supposed to be funny, and the last panel like even looks like it's a punchline. Like it kind of, you have this frame that's just a picture of his face, and then it smash cuts. I mean, this isn't a movie, but within the comic, it's like the final panel has the impact of like a smash cut. And it cuts to 1 week later, and he's all shredded, lifting these weights. And it's like, that's supposed to be a joke. But I don't know, he just did the thing. You know, he asked them how they got so muscly. They showed him, and then he did that to become a muscular alpha with the out shirt. By the way, really cool to have the out shirt. That's, if you guys don't know what the out shirt is, it's the shirt that Chad wears in the Chad memes. I think it's actually really badass to make your webcomic an origin story for a meme. A joke is generally, and I'm not going to say every joke has to be like a knock-knock joke or whatever, but it's generally some sort of like play on expectations. Not that it's necessarily like doing the opposite of what you think or anything like that. A lot of the times a joke is doing exactly the thing that you think is going to happen. And I'm not here to be like the science of a joke, but I am a little bit, actually. It's hard for me to imagine a person looking at this and finding it funny, because it's not just unfunny in the way that like a meme that your grandma would share is unfunny. Like a meme that your grandma would share is usually unfunny because they are so obvious. This is different. This is like weirdly esoteric, and it's not esoteric on purpose, because there are a lot of memes that are like that, and there are a lot of them that are even specifically right-wing, because if you want to get people to talk about your webcomic and you're a right-wing person, just make something totally fucking incoherent, and Twitter will give you a ton of attention for it. But this isn't one of those. This is just badly made. This was posted to a subreddit for bad memes, and there were a bunch of people in the comment that were like, no, dude, this is actually really funny. This is actually a really funny meme. Some people were like, dude, it's a joke, which is funny because it's posted to a subreddit for bad memes. So the assumption is that it's a bad joke. That's what the person's saying. They're saying they didn't find it funny or whatever. Another comment that I saw underneath this post was, there was somebody saying, there were a couple people saying like, this is actually making fun of both sides. And it's like, wow, that's just really stupid. You have to be a dumb person to think that. But so many people were like, this is actually funny. And I'm like, You're lying. You're lying to me to say that. Like, it's not. It just isn't funny. It just doesn't make sense. Maybe if you stretch it a little bit, you could say the joke is just that the black lady says a silly thing. But that, like, the way it is put together, it's like doesn't make any sense for that to be what the joke is. I don't know exactly. Like, it's not that coherent, but it's not intentionally incoherent in the way that like a Stone Toss comic might be. I was like thinking, like, this could have been done like competently. We're gonna figure this stuff out as we go. I figure this would be a nice little change of pace. There's a little bit of a dynamic element here. So we're gonna start with there's like a protest at the gym. I feel like this is kind of more interesting. So whatever, you have people, you have the gym over here. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look at how fucking good this is. Look at that. Look at this fucking... This is a fucking good looking place. Look at that. Look at that shit. And you have this crowd of people. You have a gym. Go ahead and cross that out. We don't like the gym. We're fat. We hate it. That's the crowd speaking. And then maybe we have our guy. Maybe he's walking over here. Yeah, that's his strong chin. And this is sort of strong hair. There you go. Ouch. There you go. That's our little character. Look at him. Look at him. He's happy, but he's actually a little bit confused. This is probably different enough by the end that you could call it a different thing. But so he's walking up. So we have our main character. He's walking up to the gym. He's confused because he's like, why is there this protest outside the gym? He sees the fat lady. Look at this fat lady. This is kind of fat phobic, low key. She's not black, okay. I can't give. I feel like it would be bad to give a character this kind of hair if they were black. So I'm gonna go ahead and, yeah, I guess that's the outfit. That's not supposed to be like an offensive hairstyle or whatever. That's just long lady hair or whatever. Then you have, she's holding a sign. Okay, first off, I made her into a real person instead of just an Instagram post, which is a lot better. And it says, going to gym is, we'll say, fat phobic. So he's like, so you think going to the gym is fat phobic? And she's like, yes. And then it cuts to his face. This is maybe a bit too aggressive, more aggressive than I had in mind. This is probably a bit longer than I mean for it to be since I'm looking at this from a weird angle. And he's just looking, sort of, it's like he's thoughtfully considering this. And then we cut to the last panel, which is a similar sort of smash cut. He's lifting a big weight. That's right. Because he doesn't care. Because he's just a fat phobic piece of shit. He doesn't even give a crap. He probably even just has his penis out. Because he's such an alpha male. He's definitely not circumcised. Because he's too alpha to be circumcised. I forget. Sometimes you just forget which way the thumb goes. And he's lifting up a huge weight. He's lifting up a huge weight because of how he just doesn't give a shit. Yeah, and you can bet he's got a little bit of a smirk going on. You can bet that that's the case. And yeah, he's taking a shit on the ground. Because fuck you. That's really why. He's taking a shit on the ground just because of fuck you, dude. See? He's taking a shit on the ground. He's pissing too. He's pissing on the ground. And, okay, let's just go ahead and add another panel at the end. This wasn't planned, but... the fat lady is a freaking triggered Karen about this. The fat lady is literally freaking out that this is happening. Is that even in the... well, she's freaking out about this. About how alpha he is going to the gym and just being a based person who hates fat people and loves body shaming. She's freaking out about that. So I added a little panel on the end, you know. Maybe that's not totally fair, but this makes a little bit more sense in my humble opinion. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's my idea. That's how I would do the same comic, but better. I mean, really, this still isn't really that funny. The only thing that's funny is that he's just pissing and shitting on the ground, and that really doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the comic. But if you want to make this comic, this better, funnier comic that I probably would have laughed at if I read, mostly just because of the pissing and shitting, if you want to make this comic, feel free. I don't care. I mean, if you're the original artist who made the original comic, you can go ahead and use this as a blueprint to make an even better comic. I'd appreciate credit, but you certainly don't have to give it to me. How should I wrap this up? Whenever I think politics really ruins memes, generally speaking. I don't think there are very many good political memes. And I think the good political memes are just like too esoteric. They're like so removed from any actual politics as to mean basically nothing. A lot of liberals back in the day were really like crying and very frightened of memes. When memes get popular, they don't radicalize people. When memes get popular, the meme gets normified. It's normified. And the only memes that cannot be co-opted are memes that either are just a statement of specific political belief, like most left-wing memes, or just the SS symbol or a swastika. Memes just don't really matter that much in reality. All of these things, they're a part of this big, it's not really a conspiracy, but they're a part of this trend toward this hyper-politicization of like all media. And while these are specifically political memes, they're also politically irrelevant for the most part. I mean, you could maybe make an argument that they are in some way politically relevant, but like as with most media things, their importance is insanely overblown. The same thing is true for like content creators. The same thing is true for like films. It's like this shit does not actually matter, but it is the only realm, because at the end of the day, it comes down to a choice in consumption. It comes down to you shouldn't be subscribed to this person because they said something problematic. And it's like, it just doesn't fucking matter. Or you shouldn't be engaging in the meme community. You shouldn't be sharing this meme because it's problematic. It offers you this easy decision to make this just basic choice. Like, oh, I'm going to choose to consume something else. I'm going to make a choice in my consumption that affirms my moral virtue and my moral values. And it's like, that does not matter. It does not matter. You're not doing anything of importance or significance at all. This video is not important or significant. This is the closest thing to a meaningful statement I've made in this whole video. But I'm just saying, these things are like, media is like this arena where everything is hyper politicized, and even whenever you try to take something out from that arena, it ends up getting pulled back into that arena. Like with the body positivity movement, with that stuff, ultimately it comes down to there should be a fat person who's a supermodel. It seems to have very little to do with any sort of things that materially change people's lives. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It's totally disconnected from that. I think both of them claim to be about health, but it's health at no cost. Health at no cost, right? Both of them are in some way saying, I am healthy. It is healthy to be like accepting of your body or whatever. And the other side is like, it is healthy to be skinny or whatever, or to exercise, if I'm being a little bit more generous, to exercise and eat healthily. But neither of them actually care about either of those things. They just care about they just care about the aesthetics of these things. Because there are things to do to make people healthier, regardless as to whether or not people are fat. That doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. The thing about like it's about health. The thing about that is that whenever you make eating healthy, whenever you make exercising, whenever you make these things instrumental to getting skinny, whenever somebody fails to get skinny, they stop doing those things because the only reason that they were doing them was to get skinny. You know, because really all they want to do is justify like being cruel to people. And I'm not saying that you can't ever be cruel to people. I'm not saying that you can't ever make fun of people. I think to some extent that's like, I don't know, it's funny sometimes. It's funny sometimes to make a joke at the expense of people. It's funny sometimes, but I hate this shit. I hate there's also this need to morally justify fucking everything that you do. Like sometimes you do something that's kind of mean because it's funny. Okay. Sometimes you're just kind of mean just because you're mean. I don't know. Sometimes that's the case as well. Subscribe. Joel Haver video. I know that that's one that people are looking forward to. That should be the next video. That's my plan. That was that video. I'm a little bit of a comic genius. Imagine a little cartoon character on my shoulder. I think that's just going to be the next development for me.